Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and this is it. It's Dominaria Prerelease weekend. Finally, feels like we've been waiting for this forever, talking about these cards for weeks on end, but it's finally here. Many of you will have a chance to play with these cards as early as midnight tonight in your local area. But throughout the weekend, LGSs will be holding pre-release events. I hope you get to go to one. Today's video is to talk about the cards that you want to open, at least from a financial point of view, at your pre-release this weekend. Now, quickly before we get started, just a really fast reminder, if you check out the description below, you'll find a few ways to help support what we do here at the channel. Our Patreon page is linked below. You'll also find links to products on Amazon. If you make any purchases on Amazon, actually no matter what it is, once you go through that link, we'll get a small percentage for the channel. And finally, Flipside Gaming still offering a promo code for our viewers. Hopefully you can save some cash while you support us at the same time. And as always, thank you not only to the folks that look at those links, but to all the viewers. Okay, now before we get into our top 10, I am going to give two honorable mentions. And these are going to be the Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers. And just as a reminder, you will not find these next two cards in your packs this weekend. They can only be found in those Planeswalker decks. However, LGSs will sell these over the course of the weekend during the event. And a lot of people do have questions about their value going into that first weekend. So the first one, Chandra, Bold Pyromancer at $14.41. And Teferi, Timebender, $14.99. Now remember, these Planeswalkers are designed for casual play, not really competitive play. I don't think these are going to be any different in that regard. But a lot of people do wonder about value if they are going to invest in one of these decks. Keep in mind, though, once these hit their wide release next week and they go out to the big box stores and everything, these prices will come down quite a bit over time. Alright, now on to the main event. We'll talk about cards that could actually come out of your pre-release packs or your prize packs this weekend. Now, a word of warning, these prices will change dramatically over the next few weeks. Pre-release prices are based solely on speculation and how we think a card's going to perform. Once we see how cards truly perform over the coming weeks, these will change. Cards that overperform will go up, cards that underperform will go down. Also, as more packs get open in the coming weeks and months, more card availability will lead to the evening out of some prices. However, I think it's still very important to know these price points as you go into this weekend. Some players will want to make some trades after the event's over or sell cards back to the LGS. I just want to make sure nobody gets pulled into a bad deal. So let's get into it with number 10. Phyrexian Scriptures, $5.22. This one is a mythic, and it's also a board sweep, so it's got a lot of people paying attention to it. Now you're going to notice there's a lot of mythics on our list today. That's normal because they're going to be opened in less quantity than, say, the rares. So they are going to hold their price a little bit better typically. This one, no exception. So ultimately, does this see standard play? Well, it could. Even though it is a little slow, the board sweep doesn't actually happen till the next turn after you play it. It does only cost 4, so you might consider it kind of like a 5 casting cost board sweep. Only problem, it is exposed for the turn before it goes off, and it is situational. Now, the plus side, though, it interacts really well if you have a lot of artifact creatures. It also protects your best creature, making it bigger, too. Also, that number 3 could be relevant against some current standard strategies. We'll have to kind of wait and see how it all pans out for standard, but at least a great casual card, if nothing else, especially for some artifact builds. Number 9, Steel Leaf Champion, $5.50. Now, this is a rare, has a pretty nice price point for a rare going into the weekend, and there's a reason for that. This card is the real deal, I think. Considering Llanowar Elves are in the format now, many times in Standard this might actually be a turn 2 play. A 5/4 on turn 2 that can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, so you can't chump block it, can't joint block it with a couple 2/2s. You have to get some 3 power toughness on the battlefield before you can even think about interacting with this thing. That is kind of awesome. So this is definitely going to be a hot card. I actually think this is a good price for the card. If you can find these around the $4 or $5 mark this weekend, yeah, I might grab some. Number 8, Jaya Ballard, $6.15. This is a low pre-release price for a Planeswalker. As a matter of fact, the lowest in the set, including the Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers. That's saying something for sure. So what's going on here? Where's the love for Jaya? Well, some people are looking at her and just saying, does she really fit into the current standard right now? Because 3 red, 2, it's asking a little bit, and you have so many other good red cards right now. Chandra, Torch of Defiance, Rekindling Phoenix, Hazaret, list kind of goes on and on. So does she fit in a deck like that? I think that's the disconnect. Also, her first +1 and her -8, they impact instants and sorceries, where that's important but not the most critical part of red decks right now in Standard. So ultimately, does she fit into Standard? I think she will. That second +1 is a very powerful ability. And I do think maybe it won't be immediately, but people will start to wrap their head around where she's best utilized, which decks, what quantity, that type of thing. And she will start to see play here and there. And then over time, especially post-rotation, I do think she sees more and more play. If you can find these for $5, $6, $7 this weekend, I would try to pick up a playset, honestly. I think that's a really fair price for a card that eventually will see Standard play. Maybe it won't be as big as like a Chandra Torch of Defiance, but this is still a really good price point. Number 7, Shalai, Voice of Plenty, at $7.44. And this is a rare at this price point, not a mythic. That's really saying something. There's a lot of anticipation right now around this card, and rightfully so. This sees Standard play. A white and 3/4 flyer with these abilities, that's very powerful. Probably will make its way into a few different builds. Some people are looking at this as maybe an upgrade to the cat deck we've seen. Also, just any Selesnya or White Weenie deck could be interested in this among other builds. Now, beyond that, and the reason this has such an inflated price point is because it could also be pretty amazing in other formats like Commander. Some of those Selesnya tokens decks would love to have this, maybe even as their Commander. So with that crossover appeal, this has a pretty nice price tag going into the pre-release. Number 6, Muldrotha the Gravetide, $7.98. Okay, back to Mythics here. And this is a very powerful card, although that casting cost I think will keep it out of Standard. However, it doesn't matter because this is an incredible Commander card. The second this was previewed, Commander players saw this, they knew they had to build around it, myself included. This is going to be a huge, huge Commander card over the coming months and years even. So if you can find a reasonably priced copy, I'd snatch one up. Number 5, and we're already over the $10 mark, with Lyra Dawnbringer, $12.94. She's a mythic, and she is going to be another card that has strong crossover appeal. In Standard, she sees play probably in multiple builds in her time in the format. 5 casting cost, 5/5, flying, first strike, lifelink. Now, that Anthem ability for Angels might not come into play necessarily in Standard, however, you know where it will come into play? Commander, and that's the other group of players looking at this card. Imagine building an Angel deck with her as your Commander, could be quite good. So she has a nice price point going into pre-release weekend. Number 4, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, $14.99, and this is not even the highest value Planeswalker in the set. You probably know who that is, we'll get to that in a moment. But this is still a good card for control builds. I think this sees some Standard play, maybe in approach decks, maybe in just traditional control decks. And again, another one that does cross over well into Commander. Number 3, History of Benalia, $17.73. Not a bad price point for this saga. It is mythic, however, but it has nice economy behind it, and that's what's got people paying attention to it. Imagine playing a White Weenie deck, or Selesnya Weenie, or even a variation of some of the decks we've already seen in the format, including this, and you can throw this out on turn 3, get a 2/2 White Knight creature token with Vigilance. Turn 4, you might be able to drop another 1 or 2 creatures even, and then get another Knight on top of it. That's an explosive turn, and that's why this has Standard potential. This is one to watch at least. Now, Knight strategies, as far as full-on Knight Tribal, I don't know if that makes it to Standard, although Knights could play a role in like a small creature strategy just regardless, because I do think some of them are good enough. Now, in the world of Commander, you could go full-on Knight Tribal, and this will be an awesome card for you there too. Number 2, Mox Amber, $29.97. Well, it is a Mox. Can't expect to pay less than $30, right? So anyway, is it a good card is the question. And a lot of people will point out that it is riddled with drawbacks. It's legendary. You have to have a legendary creature or planeswalker in play to tap for mana. It can't tap for colorless mana. There's some issues here, at least at face value. However, I've said it before, I'm going to say it one more time because I don't think the joke's completely played out yet. Fast mana will find a way. And I do think this sees Standard play because of that reason. It could even see play in other competitive formats too. And as far as Commander goes, this thing is going to be incredible there. Basically just becomes a Commander staple right out of the box. So yeah, this is really strong and it's going to carry a large price point with it. Could it go down below $30 once packs start getting cracked, at least in the short term? Yeah, probably. But this is one that could have some long-term appeal, no doubt. Number 1, you guessed it, Karn, Scion of Urza. Price point right now, $37.97. That's extremely high for the pre-release season. So, what do you think? Is that legit? As packs crack, I do think this will go down a little bit. This is very, very high. However, I don't know if it goes down all that much. This card is incredible. Forecasting cost, it can be played in any deck because you don't have to worry about color requirements. 5 loyalty for 4, that's pretty awesome. The +1 eventually leads to card advantage. I know there's a drawback there. Your opponent gets to decide which card to choose. However, you're still getting a card. You're still working through your deck, and that -1 does allow you to backtrack and grab a card that maybe they didn't let you take to begin with, as long as Karn can stay on the battlefield. The -2 helps you protect Karn, could be relevant in other artifact builds too. It's just doing so much for 4 mana. The economy is magnificent behind this card. This sees standard play probably all over the place. I think this becomes a huge standard staple. As far as other formats go, I've seen legacy builds playing around with this. Mono Red Prison, for example. Also Eldrazi Post. They're trying to work it in there. Could happen. Modern, I think it finds a home eventually there too. Maybe a few of them. I don't know if that home is Affinity, though. I see a lot of people testing that. I don't know if at 4 this is what Affinity wants to be doing. But I could be wrong. It might work out there too. And Commander, this will be great there. Also a great cube card. Casual players just playing for fun at the kitchen table. They're going to want this card. There is tremendous crossover appeal here. This is the big marquee card of the set, and even though it's still early, I do think it will earn its place there. Alright, so with that being said, those are the hottest cards right now for Dominaria, although like I said at the top of the show, they will change dramatically over the next few weeks. But at least you go into this weekend knowing what's valuable so you don't get pulled into any bad deals. That's what this video is all about. Tomorrow we're going to do our regular edition of the Market Watch, where we're going to check in on all of Magic beyond Dominaria, which cards are hot, which ones are cold this week. And also, if you remember, in this video's comments or another video's comments this weekend, let me know how your pre-release goes. I'd love to hear that, as far as how your deck was, what kind of crazy pulls you got, that type of stuff. Until next time, though, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.